Amidst the groaning stone, Daichi heard a language no one else cared to understand. The wall was dying. He found the crack that would end the kingdom.
This crack isn't surface deep. The foundation stone is fracturing from the inside out.
He pressed his measuring gauge against the fissure, the numbers confirming what his instincts screamed. Structural failure was accelerating.
If I'm right, District 5 will collapse within months. Thousands of lives depend on someone listening.
Daichi sprinted through the maintenance tunnels, up to the administrative quarter, and threw open Chief Engineer Hattori's door without knocking.
Chief Hattori, there's a critical fracture in District 5's foundation. The crack is spreading faster than any model predicts.
A junior engineer seeing ghosts. The wall is eternal. Your report is an insult.
But the readings, I have the data. If you just look at the stress patterns, you'll see.
Your alarmism is noted, engineer, and discarded.
They can tear the paper, but they can't erase the crack. I won't let this be buried.
Daichi submitted his findings as a formal report to the Engineering Guild. Within a day, a summons arrived. Appear before the disciplinary panel for spreading baseless fear.
Your report reads like a pulp novel. The wall has stood for 2 centuries. A junior engineer's delusions won't sway this panel.
Look at the evidence. The crack is real. If we do nothing, District 5 will fall.
Enough. This panel finds you insubordinate. Formal reprimand. One more word and you'll be reassigned.
The verdict echoed through the guild hall. Colleagues whispered as Daichi left. Alarmist, troublemaker, fool.
They didn't even examine the data. They're more afraid of panic than of the wall itself. Daichi, stop. You're destroying yourself. The seniors will never listen. Just let it go. I can't let it go. I saw the crack with my own eyes. People will die if someone doesn't speak. They'll silence you first. Hattori will bury you. Please, for your own sake, stay quiet. Quiet while the foundation rots? No. I'll find proof they can't dismiss.
2 nights later, Daichi used his maintenance keys to enter the guild record room undetected. Dust and decades of silence surrounded him.
If the crack is spreading faster than natural, someone might have cut corners on materials. The ledgers will tell.
10 years of maintenance records painted a grim picture. Enormous sums allocated for stone and mortar, yet no corresponding purchase orders.
Money flows in, but only sand and clay reach the wall. This isn't incompetence, it's theft, and it's been happening for years.
With shaking hands, Daichi began copying the damning entries into his notebook, each line a potential death sentence for whoever had falsified the records.
Daichi, what are you doing in here at this hour? You're copying the ledgers? Are you insane? Look at this, Kenji. The numbers don't lie, millions have been siphoned. The crack I found isn't just bad luck, it's a monument to corruption. If you're caught with these copies, Hattori will destroy you. Please, just put them back and walk away. Walking away now would make me an accomplice. Kenji won't report me. He's too scared. But at least another pair of eyes knows.
Daichi slipped the notebook into his tool belt and left Kenji standing among the dusty shelves, the weight of stolen secrets now shared. Hattori's swift retaliation came the next morning. A guard summoned Daichi to the chief engineer's office before the sun had fully risen.
You thought you could investigate? Your access is revoked. I know you've been copying ledgers after hours.
But the accounts, the embezzlement is right there in the pages. The crack is a direct result of missing funds.
Enough. This is your final warning. Accept the transfer to the Western Outpost or face dismissal for insubordination.
Hattori slid the reassignment order across the desk, the official seal glinting in the low light.
Exile to the Western Edge. They think silence can be bought with distance.
That afternoon, Daichi went to the lower tunnels for a final inspection. A deep groan echoed and dust rained from the ceiling. A chunk of ceiling collapsed, revealing the wall's inner structure. Gritty filler poured where solid stone should have been.
This isn't damage, it's deliberate fraud. The wall was built to fail from the inside.
He pocketed a jagged piece of the false stone and set out for the Western Outpost as dusk fell, the weight of theft heavy in his belt. The western outpost rose from the barren plain like a forgotten tooth. Captain Takeda was waiting.
A young engineer posted here? Either you've angered someone powerful or you're utterly useless.
Call it a reassignment. I'm here to monitor the wall's integrity.
Daichi found a cramped workroom and laid out the stone sample.
This isn't the quarried granite from the ledgers. It's cheap aggregate, barely better than packed sand.
A truth he couldn't ignore solidified. The embezzlement had hollowed the wall from within. He encoded a letter to Kenji, burying the real message under routine maintenance jargon.
If Kenji gets this to someone with a voice, the public might force an inspection.
He pressed the letter into the hands of a supply runner scheduled for the capital. As the runner vanished into the dusk, Daichi clutched the false stone, the only proof he had left. Kenji had deciphered the code and knew he couldn't act alone. He sought out the only journalist brave enough to chase small corruption leads.
This is from Daichi. He's found proof that the wall was built with counterfeit materials.
Counterfeit? That's a bold claim, coming from an engineer who was just reprimanded.
He has a physical sample. I've seen the ledgers. If you want the truth, visit him at the Western Outpost.
A week later, Ito arrived at the Western Outpost, her eyes sharp with suspicion.
This is the foundation of District 5's wall. Not granite, just sand and cheap binder.
If this is true, entire sections are doomed. Show me the evidence, all of it.
Ito spent hours copying Daichi's notes, her journalist's instinct overriding caution. But Hattori's informants had tracked the letter. Guards descended on the outpost that night. They demanded Daichi's conspiracy materials, but Ito had already slipped away with the copies, the net tightening behind her. Within days, Ito drafted an explosive article detailing the counterfeit stone and the missing millions. But before the ink dried, Magistrate Hirano intervened.
This slander ends now. No press will print your lies. You're finished.
You can't suppress the truth forever. The wall is failing. People will die.
Your press credentials are revoked. Speak a word and you'll rot in a cell. Now get out.
Stripped of her livelihood, Ito went underground. It took 2 weeks to reach Daichi through Kenji's covert network. They met in a crumbling watchtower on the capital's edge, fugitives both.
It's not just Hattori. Hirano and dozens of officials are in the ledgers. The rot runs to the top.
Then there's no one left to convince. We have to show them. Make the wall speak for itself.
The Foundation Festival is in 3 weeks. The entire kingdom will be watching the wall's blessing ceremony.
They began plotting a demonstration that would force the kingdom to witness its own decay, a reckoning the wall could no longer hide. Daichi slipped into the capital through a forgotten drainage gate, his hood pulled low against the lantern light.
The Foundation Festival is close. I need more proof. Something human, not just numbers and stone.
He found the District 5 wall section near midnight. The crack had torn wider, a dark mouth at the base.
Another few storms and this section will buckle. The district doesn't have months, it has weeks.
Kenji had given Daichi a name. In a cramped tenement, Mrs. Fuji stared at the forged stone he held out.
You told Kenji you saw officials taking bribes years ago. Please, tell me what you witnessed.
It was years ago, crates of cheap mortar, not stone. I saw the superintendent pocket a purse of gold, laughing.
Daichi recorded every word, the old woman's trembling voice becoming a weapon against the corruption.
I've lived in District 5 all my life. The wall was never solid, it just hid its wounds until now.
Daichi tucked the signed testimony into his belt. He had his witness. Now he just needed a stage. Ito's network traced a name, Rue, a retired construction overseer who vanished after the wall's completion decades ago.
You oversaw the Foundation work. You know why the wall is failing.
I know nothing. Leave me to my silence.
Tens of thousands live in District 5. Their lives depend on the truth you've buried.
Ryu's trembling hands pulled out a bundle of dusty blueprints from a hidden drawer. The plans specified solid granite blocks, yet the wall Daichi saw contained only sand and gravel.
They threatened my family. I signed off on the inferior fill. I've carried that shame for 40 years.
Daichi wrote every word, adding the confession to the growing dossier of proof.
Take these. Let them speak for the dead who built that wall with their bare hands.
Between the testimony, the sample, and now the original blueprints, the foundation of lies is ready to crumble.
In a dust-choked safe house, Daichi and Ito spread the blueprints across a crate, marking the wall's weakest point for a controlled rupture.
The blessing ceremony crowd will be right here. A small explosive charge will expose the counterfeit fill.
Once the stone crumbles, I'll read the testimony on the engineer's megaphone. The panic will force the press to publish.
Kenji burst through the door, gasping. Hattori's men found the old overseer. They're sweeping the district.
They found Daichi's notes at Ryu's. Hattori called a lockdown. Every guard is hunting you. If the festival is cancelled, our window shuts forever. We must move tonight, get the dossier to the secret press.
They sprinted to the underground printing den, but before they could hand over the evidence, torches flared outside. Guards surrounded the block.
They'll take everything. Go through the cellar grate. I'll stall them and follow.
Daichi dropped into the foul water as the door splintered. Ito's voice rose over the tumult, a lone accusation against the darkness.
The dossier is hidden with the printers. Ito bought us time. Now it all hinges on tomorrow's ceremony.
The Foundation Festival dawned bright, banners fluttering over the oblivious crowd. Thousands gathered before the Great Wall.
Citizens, your wall is a monument to lies. Look at its true foundation.
With a precision strike, Daichi shattered the base stone. The outer shell crumbled, revealing a core of cheap sand and gravel. A collective gasp swept the square. The eternal wall crumbled like dry clay before their eyes.
Guards, that man is a saboteur. He's weakened the wall deliberately. Arrest him before he spreads more lies.
Sand, not stone. Your taxes bought sand. Mrs. Fuji saw the bribes. Ryu confessed to the fraud. The wall is a lie.
Guards surged forward, but the crowd roiled, some pushing to save him, others to condemn. Daichi slipped into the alleys, the truth already loose. By nightfall, Ito's secret press blanketed the capital with pamphlets. The headline screamed, "The Wall That Lied." The dossier was everywhere. In a dark cellar, Daichi heard a guard's report through the grate. Engineers confirm the entire foundation is compromised. District 5 will collapse soon.
I exposed the crime, but I can't stop the disaster. Evacuation is the only salvation now. My fight has just changed shape.
Within hours, the Guild's emergency team confirmed the unthinkable. District 5's foundation was terminal. Collapse was no longer a question of if, but when.
The clock is ticking louder than ever. Each hour I hide is an hour lost. But if they catch me, the evacuation dies with me.
He risked a meeting with Captain Takeda, who had seen the fraudulent stone himself. They spoke in a shuttered tavern near the wall's edge.
I can't openly defy orders, but I'll assign my most trusted guards to escort the evacuees. You'll need routes. Use the old mining shafts.
Over the next 2 days, Daichi and Ito, released but under watch, marked safe passages on crumpled maps in a basement lit by a single bulb.
The elders remember the old escape roads. We've spread word through the markets. Everyone will be ready to move at your signal.
Hattori, desperate to salvage the guards' loyalty, pasted the district with wanted posters branding Daichi a saboteur who triggered the collapse.
If they see me, panic might turn into a mob. But I can't leave the people to face this darkness alone. I must walk among them.
That evening, in a warehouse packed with families, Daichi stepped onto a crate, his face illuminated by dozens of held candles.
The wall will fall, but we will not fall with it. Follow the marked paths. Stay together. No one gets left behind, we save ourselves.
Dawn broke over District 5 as a steady stream of families poured into the old mining shafts. Carts heaved with belongings, children clinging to their mothers.
Keep moving. Don't stop for anything. The wall's groaning is our clock once it starts to sing. We have minutes.
Captain Takeda's trusted guards had cleared the old escape tunnels, their torches lighting a ghostly road beneath the earth.
Halt. By order of Magistrate Hirano, this evacuation is suspended. You're following a saboteur. Daichi is a criminal. He weakened the wall himself. Turn back or you'll be buried by his lies.
I'm the one who showed you the sand. Now I'm showing you the way out. Trust me or trust the wall itself.
I've seen the stone myself. The wall is death. Any man who stops these families answers to me.
A deep, prolonged groan rolled through the district. The wall's fractured face split wider, raining chunks of stone.
Run! Everyone run! The foundation is giving way. Go, go, go!
The last hesitation crumbled with the wall. The mass exodus became a flood, and amidst it, Daichi stood as the stone screamed. Through the dust, Daichi spotted Mrs. Fuji stumbling, her cane lost, 2 guards overwhelmed by the fleeing crowd.
Mrs. Fuji? Take my arm. There's a secondary shaft through the old well.
I can't keep up. Leave me, Daichi. Save the young ones first.
Every second I spare for her means the shaft might collapse before I reach safety. But I didn't come this far to abandon a single soul.
He half-carried Mrs. Fuji through a narrow gap into the old well shaft, the walls trembling with each step.
Just a little further. The exit is ahead. I can see daylight.
A heart-stopping crack echoed. The ceiling behind them collapsed, sealing the passage with a wall of rubble.
The shaft is cut. I'm trapped. On the other side, the rest of the district will fall, but Mrs. Fuji is safe.
Daichi, Daichi, answer me. Don't you dare leave us alone.
He pressed his hand to the stone and listened to the wall's dying song, knowing every note was a life saved. For a few heartbeats, there was only darkness and the slow settling of dust. Then, a muffled shout from beyond the rubble.
Daichi, are you in there? The others are through, but the main path is caved in. We're trying to dig from this side. If they dig, this whole section might collapse faster. But if I stay silent, they'll waste time searching while the wall counts down.
He could hear water dripping, feel the vibration of men shifting stones. The secondary shaft, if he climbed over the debris, he might reach the old aqueduct.
But that route is crawling with Hattori's guards. I'll be captured, and the narrative shifts to traitor caught. The evacuation could be stopped. But if I don't get out, the truth of the wall's fraud dies with me. Ito has the dossier, but she needs a living witness. Kenji, listen carefully. I'm going through the old aqueduct. Don't dig, pull everyone back. The wall's collapse is imminent.
With a nod to the invisible voice, Daichi began squeezing up a jagged fissure, the stone scraping his shoulders toward the aqueduct drainage. He emerged into a storm drain just as guards' torchlights swept the grate. He had no choice but to give himself up, or vanish forever.
I'll not vanish. I'll face them. If they want a scapegoat, they'll get one. But the truth is already out of the bottle.
Daichi climbed through the grate into torchlight, his arms raised. The guards recoiled at the ghost rising from the drain.
I surrender. Just listen. The wall is seconds from catastrophic collapse. You need to pull everyone back from the perimeter.
Too late, engineer. You'll watch from a cell as we rebuild. Your career ends in disgrace if you survive the verdict.
Before Daichi could respond, a deep, primordial groan rose from the earth. The wall's face split open like a wound emptying its black bile. Guards dropped their weapons and fled. Hattori stumbled backward, his face a mask of pure horror.
Cut my bonds. The main shaft is sealed, but there's a secondary exit through the old well. I can guide them.
Release him. He's the only reason half the district isn't dead yet. Follow him, now.
Free but too late. The wall's death cry turned into a tidal wave of stone and dust. The collapse was now a wall of moving earth heading toward them.
There's no outrunning it. Everyone down into the drainage culvert. Cover your heads. If these stones are my grave, at least the families are on the other side. The wall kept its final promise. I just made sure it wasn't a massacre.
The world became a muffled roar. Daichi lay pinned, Takeda's arm across his back, both buried in debris up to their shoulders.
Engineer. Daichi, are you breathing?
I'm here. A few bruises, but alive. You...
They crawled out into a gray wasteland where the wall had once stood. Only a jagged scar of rubble remained, stretching to the horizon. On the far ridge, the people of District 5 stood safe. A wave of sound rose, not panic, but a cheer that rippled across the desolation.
They made it. Every last soul. Even if I hang for this, I just watched a miracle.
Hattori emerged from a command post, his uniform torn, pointing a trembling finger. Guards surrounded Daichi and clamped iron cuffs on his wrists.
You'll face the king's justice. This catastrophe is on your head.
The wall was dead before I was born. I just made sure the people lived to see another sunrise.
They dragged him away, but not before the crowd's chant reached his ears, a growing murmur of his name, spreading like a promise. 3 days later, in the Hall of Judgment, Daichi knelt before the throne. His chains rattled in the silence. Evidence of the embezzlement was laid before the court. Ryu's confession, the blueprints, and the sample of false stone. Magistrate Hirano was dragged in, sobbing. Behind him, Hattori's once proud uniform was stripped as he was clapped in irons. The king's verdict was somber. The fraud was a crime against heaven, and those responsible would rot in the dungeons. But for Daichi, the king's tone hardened. Your methods brought chaos. For inciting panic, you are exiled, stripped of rank, forever banished.
You call it chaos, but I call it awakening. Exile me, but every brick you rebuild will carry this lesson.
Outside the court, news of the verdict had spread like wildfire. The people gathered, not in riot, but in silent witness. As the gates parted, Daichi stepped out onto the exile's road, no longer an engineer, but a man whose name meant salvation.
Daichi, take this. It's not much, but you'll need it on the road.
They gave me exile, but the only prison was the silence I broke. The wall's voice now echoes in every heart that beats in District 5.
The exile road stretched ahead, but Daichi walked through a tunnel of outstretched hands.
Daichi, wait! I kept your notebook safe. Every engineer is studying your methods now.
The dossier has been printed in every language. They're calling it the wall that spoke.
The new wall will be built on your specifications, exiled or not. Your exile is a badge of honor.
They've given me more than bread. They've given me a future that doesn't know my face but will know my work.
One by one, they fell in line behind him, not to follow, but to witness that a clerk could shake an empire. At the district border, Daichi paused and looked back at the capital, its silhouette scarred but still standing.
The crack that would end the kingdom was never in the wall. It was in the silence that let it crumble.
He turned away, and the road to exile became the road to legend. Ahead, the sun set on the old world. Behind, a new wall was already rising, built on stone and on truth. The new cornerstone was laid at dawn, bearing an engraving, built on truth, in memory of the one who spoke.
They finally understood. The cost was my name, my home, my future, but it was a fair trade. Daichi, the new guild charter includes mandatory inspections. We'll never let corruption fester again. Don't build a wall, Kenji. Build a promise. Every stone must have a voice.
With that, he turned his back on the capital forever, not as a broken man, but as an engineer who had redesigned the kingdom.
The crack I found was just the symptom. The real rot was in the ledger books. Now the books are open.
As he walked, a lone rider approached. Captain Takeda dismounted, holding a small package wrapped in cloth.
The citizens pooled their savings. Take this to start anew. It's not charity. It's wages for a wall well built.
Then I'll use it to teach. Every village needs its walls, and I'll make sure they're built right.
And so the exile became the kingdom's conscience, carrying the lesson of stone from one end of the land to the other. Years later, the new wall bore a bronze plaque. A single phrase glinted in the sun. A young girl tugged her grandmother's sleeve. Who is that?
An engineer who saved us all. He taught us that the strongest walls are built on truth.
Far from the capital, a lone figure paused on a hillside. A letter had reached him, carried by a trader.
Kenji writes that the new charter has been adopted by every village. The wall is just the beginning.
His old notebook lay open nearby, filled with crack calculations and notes, now used as a teaching tool. The exile's road had no end, but every village that raised a wall became his home. He never returned to the capital, but his legacy was carved in stone and in the conscience of a nation. At the plaque, a fresh yellow flower rested daily, placed by unseen hands, a silent thank you. The crack that would end the kingdom became the seam that held it together. The years had etched lines around his eyes, but his stride remained that of a man who walked with purpose.
A lifetime later, and I still feel the echo of that first crack under my fingers. It shaped everything.
He never crossed the border again, but sometimes he found a high place where the city's skyline was just visible. From that distance, the bronze plaque was invisible, but he knew its words by heart. He had carved them into his own soul. At the base of that distant plaque, a yellow flower rested daily, but here, Daichi picked a wildflower and laid it on a simple stone.
No one sees this memorial, but it's for me, a reminder that even exiles can leave a mark.
He straightened up and continued down the road, a masterless teacher with a notebook full of truth. Behind him, the kingdom thrived under the shadow of a wall that no longer hid secrets. The exile's road finally faded into legend, but the engineer's name was whispered wherever stone met stone. He found the crack that would end a kingdom, and in breaking the silence, built the foundation of a new world.